every week the tight end position is so up and down, and you can never predict what can happen in the tight end position specifically. So as always, guys, you're going to be starting your top guys, your Mark Andrews and really your Travis Kelce. Those are only two you can start with confidence right now. But I'm going to be giving you 4 guys that you should be starting going into week 5 and 2 tight ends that you should be sitting going into week 5. So let's get straight into it. And at number 1, maybe no surprise, but give you some confidence, Dallas Goedert versus the Arizona Cardinals. Jalen Hurts and these Eagles are on fire right now. They feel like they can't be stopped. Everyone is feeding, everyone's eating, everyone's getting fantasy points, it feels like, in this offense. And the Cardinals currently give the second most fantasy points to the second most points to the tight end position. He is currently averaging 11.5 fantasy points per game. He has given, in the last 3 weeks, from weeks 2 to 4, he has scored more than 10 fantasy points in each game. And in week 1, he scored just over 9 fantasy points. So right now, I think it's really easy and confident that you should be starting Dallas Goedert. If you were shaky or if you have some other options, so start Dallas Goedert going into week 5. And at number 2, this is a bit of a deep dive in the tight end position, but I wanted to give you guys some depth here. Mo Alley-Cox versus the Denver Broncos. And I know this is not sexy, but if you did a late round tight end strategy, and you did Hunter Henry or Cole Kmet, whatever the case may be, and these guys aren't hitting for you right now, maybe it's time to consider someone like this and take a chance, to be completely honest. Mo Alley-Cox versus the Denver Broncos, who currently give up the 13 most fantasy points to the tight end position. Let me remind you, Jonathan Taylor is injured and dealing with an injury. So is he going to be playing in week 5? It is a short week. They do play on Thursday Night Football. I think the chances of Jonathan Taylor missing this game is high. It's very high in my opinion. So they're going to have Nyheim Hines, Michael Pittman going against Patrick Surtain, and then Alec Pierce on the other side of the ball. They need to get creative here. I think Mo Alley-Cox could be part of that game plan. This past weekend against the Tennessee Titans, caught all 6 of his targets for 85 yards. Usually I wouldn't, address a guy like this and say, I think you should start him, because somebody like Mo Alley-Cox will probably get a touchdown in a garbage time scenario, or where, they're on the 1 or 2 yard line and he is the guy that catches the touchdown. No, he caught 6 out of 6 targets for 85 yards. That means Matt Ryan was targeting Mo Alley-Cox in the middle of the field, in the end zone, all over the field, guys. So I will be starting Mo Alley-Cox this week. He had over 26 fantasy points this past week. I think it's too bold to say that he can get, 15 fantasy points, but I don't think it will be bold to say he can get at least 8 to 10 fantasy points. And I think if you're in a position, once again, a late round tight end position, where you had Cole Kmet, where you had, Cole Kmet, where you had Hunter Henry, and they're not doing their thing. Maybe even Dalton Schultz, based off the matchup, who you're going to hear on the video later. I might be starting Mo Alley-Cox over all those guys. So start Mo Alley-Cox with some confidence. And at number 3, start Tyler Conklin versus the Miami Dolphins. I know last week I said maybe you should sit him, or Zach said you should sit him, because of it could have been a trap game with Zach Wilson. But Zach Wilson came out and played decent. Wasn't amazing. He had an average performance. He did have a game-winning drive where he scored a touchdown and he helped the Jets win. So it was pretty average. Jokes. But Tyler Conklin still getting some work. Caught 3 out of 5 targets, over 8 fantasy points. Once again, kind of like Mo Alley-Cox, if you have did a late round tight end strat, like a Cole Kmet, like a Hunter Henry that didn't work out for you, Tyler Conklin, pick him up off of waiver wires, which we said he shouldn't be available anywhere anymore. But I will be starting him with confidence. The Dolphins currently give up the 6th most fantasy points to the tight end position. This is a divisional game. Tua Tagovailoa is going to be out, so maybe there can be some opportunity for Zach Wilson to really get a feel of this offense and to really target maybe Tyler Conklin in space. So start Tyler Conklin with confidence in week 5. And my last start tight end of this week is David NJOKU versus the Los Angeles Chargers. Chargers currently give the 13th fewest fantasy points to the tight end position, but David NJOKU is still getting the targets and opportunities. Week 3, caught 9 out of 10 targets for over 23 fantasy points. Week 4, caught 5 out of 7 targets for just under 10 fantasy points. He did have a fumble, so he would have had about 11 fantasy points if he didn't lose that fumble. But still, the opportunity is there for David NJOKU. against these Chargers defense, who you would expect them to be down a lot, so they should be passing the ball and running it a little bit less this week. David NJOKU could be seen in space, could be getting some, red zone goal line opportunities. So look, if you once again, I've been saying this all throughout the whole video, if you did a late round tight end strategy, had a co-commit Hunter Henry, and you need a guy, David NJOKU could be a guy that could be stepping forward for you in week 5. And as always, we give you our starts. Now we need to give you our sits. And our number 1, Dalton Schultz versus the Rams. Sit Dalton Schultz versus the Rams. The Rams currently give it the fewest points to the tight end position. If you watched my running back video for this week, I said the Rams are up and down. Good game, or bad game, good game, bad game. However the case may be, they just lost to the 49ers. They're pissed. They were fighting against each other. Jalen Ramsey was upset. Everything happens, right? And the next week they come back and they're strong. And Dalton Schultz, as much as I love Dalton Schultz and what he was doing, obviously he's been injured. And Cooper Rush having a fantastic, being 4-0. I don't think we can trust Dalton Schultz right now going against this Rams team. They're going to be struggling. The Rams are going to be bullying the Cowboys and potentially Cooper Rush. I doubt Dak Prescott's going to play. But even if Dak Prescott plays, I don't know if I want to start Dalton Schultz still because of the grip, and maybe he'll be coming back too soon in that injury. So sit Dalton Schultz going into week 5. And last but not least, in the tight end position, you should be sitting Gerald Everett versus the Cleveland Browns, who currently give the 6th fewest fantasy points to the tight end position. And look, Everett has been doing great. He's been fantastic. Week 1, 14 fantasy points. Week 2, 13. Week 3, had a bad game, had 5. Week 4, he had over 17 fantasy points. Look, the only reason why I say you should sit Joe Everett is because of Keenan Allen. He should be back this week, even though we said he should be back in week 4, but he should be back this week if everything goes right. He has no more setbacks. They said, you know what, let's sit him out with a little minor setback that he had. He should be good for week 5. If Keenan Allen does play, I'm sitting Joe Everett. But if Keenan Allen doesn't play, then maybe we can have a new conversation on if we should be sitting or starting Joe Everett going into week 5 of the season. Guys, if I missed anyone, if you have any questions, any other start-sit scenarios with tight ends or whatever the case may be, please comment down below. We go live 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time every single Saturday to answer all your fantasy start-sit questions. Please do not hesitate, and good luck in week 5.
Yo, what's good? Thanks for watching. We got a lot more videos.
A lot more.
If you want more videos,
watch it.
You can also subscribe
right now
if you want to.
You need to.
And lastly, don't forget that you can sign up to support the show and get exclusive content by going to patreon.com/FantasyLand fam.